Hey, peace and love, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. So I'm gonna have a delicious and healthy meal that you can make in no time, of course, with the proper technique and preparation. Before I get into this video, I want to ask a very serious question. Now, I know you sitting there. Have you had enough water? Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. If the answer is no, make sure you pause this video and go feed themselves with some filter, some bottled water, something, some spring water, anything. Let's get into this. So I'm starting off this video by making the rice first. This is usually a technique that I use in order to make things go by a little quicker and make a recipe more simple than it would have been. The rice doesn't require much watching over, and all I have to do is boil the water. Please make sure you wait until that water gets into a roll boil. So many people make the mistake of putting rice on the putting some water on the stove and adding some rice in right after. If you want the perfect texture, of course follow follow the directions precisely. And of course, always make sure you have your roll boil. I followed the directions and made sure that I didn't rinse this rice first because it's very pigmented. And before, when I tried it, I rinsed it and a lot of the pigment was just draining down the sink, which of course I felt like a lot of the nutrients was. So I couldn't even see it in the pot. So I was trying to figure out how much water I wanted to add, and I added double the amount. So if I had like 1 cup of black rice, I added like 2 cups on top of that, and that's how you should always do it. I call it double and a dash. But I added the whole package in, and I have a measuring system on the side of my pot, which allows me to see like the cups. I usually add about like 6 cups, and of course a dash or a little more just to make sure. Not much. You don't want it to be mushy. Just a little dash more, as you saw in the video. A double and a dash. I'm just cutting up these peppers, red peppers, and I didn't add the red peppers to the lentils because I thought it would be a little much. You don't want to overpower or just add too much flavors that are just not correlating, and you have a random, doesn't even end up tasting good. So, you know, I added my onions, garlic, and let that simmer and emulsify and just make this liquidy deliciousness. And I added apple cider vinegar too. I didn't have any footage of me doing that, but I added like a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons because I had a lot of peppers and onions and tomatoes and everything. So I added some allspice seasoning, and guess what? The rice is done. And this is exactly why I made that rice first, because doing that, it'll make the load way easier. I'm starting to wash my lentils and washing really good. Then I'm gonna add it in right into the pot, and I'm not gonna add the water right in after. I'm gonna make sure I let all the peppers, get really into it. Make sure it's evenly distributed. I'm just stirring it while it's still cooking on the stove. Adding my oxtail seasoning, which of course is vegan, and I'm adding some salt, and I added some more oxtail seasoning. And that also really helps give it a flavor. This has cinnamon, salt, and some other stuff in it. And now I'm adding my water after I let it sit there and under the stove for a bit. And I'm adding another tad bit of water. Just leaving it there while I'm making my green beans. And this one is so easy and it's so versatile because you can do virtually whatever you want. I just added a little bit of the peppers, and I kept some of them. So when I'm meal prepping, if I'm making a sandwich, if I'm making anything else, really, I'm just gonna add these and the peppers that I have. Oh my god, I'm so sleepy. Forgive me, guys. It's just like life is just so funny because I got a beef patty. I was so happy. Well, it wasn't a beef patty, it was a lentil patty, and coincidentally my husband brought me this lentil patty back, and I happened to be making lentils. Isn't that a coinky dink? But this idol spot around our house sells aki patties. It's a 100% vegan store, and it sells aki patties, lentil patties, callaloo patties, spinach patty, everything. Oh, and to get that stew flavor, I'm making sure, and to get that stew texture, I'm making sure I mash up the lentils just a tad bit. Ooh, our black rice came out perfect. Ooh, and it was delicious, I must say. Yes, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, please subscribe, please all of the above, and most of all, make sure you maintain that love and peace in your heart. Thank you. Water resembles your eyes, not only when they cry, but when you get so excited. I can see the future glistening in your pupils, and they begin to dilate in broad daylight, reflecting the sky just as the lakes do. Drifting deep into a cosmic realm, void and dark, I dive into the stars with merely a gaze. I drift into a sleep, while yet being awake. And as I dive, I am reminded of the room in which I came. The sounds of women's waters breaking. The sound of waters crashing against rocks. The sound as they arrive at the shore. The sound as they depart. The sound of a gulp well needed. The sound of a fire hydrant when it gets a bit hot. The sound of birth. The sound of life. The sound of all waters. Sound alike.